Well, good morning, everyone. It's great to see so many of you on here. Thank you for joining us for November's Brunch and Learn. Today we have Chad Roberts, Chief Retirement Officer from the North Dakota Retirement and Investment Office, and Santosh Rao, Project Manager at Sagitech, with us to give a preview to the modernized employer reporting system that the Teachers Fund for Retirement will be releasing in the fall of 2024. The massive overhaul of TFFR's existing pension administration will streamline employer reporting and simplify member enrollment. During the presentation, please submit any questions you have in the Q&A feature down below, and we'll moderate them in as we go through the presentation, or we can try to get them in at the very end. There's a cohort of panelists on from both offices, so they are here to answer any questions you have. Just to let you guys know now, there is probably going to be a little bit of a time lapse here. We're thinking probably over an hour. So if you need to get off, no worries. But we aren't going to be recording the whole presentation today. So just letting you know. All right, I'll hand it over to Chad now.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for attending today. And thank you for NDSBA for partnering with us on this. Just to give kind of an intro, as Taylor mentioned, we're building the new pension administration system. We've referred to it in several of the business manager newsletters we've sent out. You've heard us speak at conferences. For the first 20 minutes or so, I'm going to go through a slide deck presentation, giving an overview. If you attended the NDSBA or NDCEL conference and sat in on the session there, I apologize in advance because you're going to see a lot of the same things. But what you're going to see different today is we're actually going to demo the system for you. Now, keep in mind that what you're seeing is an out-of-the-box solution, and we're having that out-of-the-box solution customized. So while we're demoing it, there are bells and whistles that we're adding that aren't in the demo. There are features of the out-of-the-box solution that we're taking away that we don't need. And also, while the interface is going to look very similar, colors and logos will be different when we finalize the new system. So to get started, we're calling the new system My TFFR. And this very pretty script on the screen is not what the logo is going to look like. We just settled on a logo, so that'll be released shortly, but it's called My TFFR. Just an agenda for today. So we're going to talk briefly about the timeline of the project, technical aspects of the project, improvements and advantages for both the members and the pensioner, or the members and the business partners, required operational changes for business partners, and then briefly touch on the training and educational plan for both members and business partners. So the project is a multi-year project. And actually, the request for proposal started back in 2020, I believe 2020, and was finalized in 2021. The project actually started in the first quarter of 2022. All told, the project has a budget of about $9 million, which is a sizable investment by the state. It started with requirements confirmation. So the vendor in their proposal told us what they could do, and we told them what we wanted. And then in this requirements confirmation stage, you reconcile the two and help them understand a little more what we want. Then we began system design meetings, which were no small feat. So those included probably an extra 25 hours a week of work for each of the staff members assigned to the project, in addition to their normal workload. And those design meetings lasted from third quarter of 2022 all the way till we just finished them in October of this year. So here we are in this quarter, and we're starting the business partner education and the system testing. And this is the first of the business partner education. In the second quarter, we're going to start the member education. And we planned this out. The business partners we wanted to start to talk to a year out from go live, because there are changes to make in operations. We've got to meet with the software vendors, all those things. It takes more time. The members we're starting 6 months out because their learning curve is not quite as, quite as big as the learning curve that the business partners have. And then presently we're slated to go live in the fourth quarter of 2024. And I will say, knock on wood, that this far in the project, we are under budget and on time. So I'm glad to see that. So technical aspects of the system. It's cloud-based and mobile compliant, no software needed. Now, having said that, it's mobile compliant, but we are not rolling out the mobile app for it at this time. That may be something later on if there seems to be value in it, we may look at. But when I say mobile compliant, I mean if you want to access it on an iPad, you can. You could access it on your phone. It just might, it's a lot of website to take in on your phone. And you need to install no software anywhere you have internet connection you can get on. The updates are done without service interruption. So since this is cloud-based, there's no downtime, there's no patches for you to download, there's no remote access needed. The vendor does the updates behind the scenes and doesn't interrupt service. And as I said, anywhere that you have internet, you can access it. So it has fast access using your nd.gov login. So any other nd.gov site that you access, you have a login for. This will be a single sign-on solution. So if you have a login for there, it'll be a login for here as well. Has a guaranteed uptime of 99.6%. And you get real-time acknowledgement of your transactions. So when you send a message, you get acknowledgement. When you submit a report, when you get an acknowledgement. When payments received, you get an acknowledgement. You know right away that everything's been received. And it's built on the Microsoft Azure security platform. So we have cutting-edge security, which includes multi-factor authorization and data encryption. And why this is so important, we have $3 billion worth of financial data in this system. That's the value of the fund. And inside the system is that data, the biometric data of the membership, the data of the employers, the business partners, bank account data, social security numbers, all that. So security we consider of utmost importance, and this has been built with that in mind. So I just want to touch on the member experience, just so you guys have an idea what it's delivering for your employees in case they ask about it, talk about it, that kind of thing. Think of it like a mobile banking app, like a US bank app. So everything we did was customer focused when we built it, using our existing nd.gov login so they don't have to create new usernames and passwords, simplistic and navigation methods. It streamlines the communication to us and from us. We have step-by-step process illustrations and real-time status updates. And then we're working on the possibility of building a defined benefit versus a 401k comparison tool. And so to give you an idea what that is, we want part of what the board asked us to do in designing this is how can TFFR help with retention, help with recruiting, and just help with the employee experience with the present struggles with recruiting teachers. And so this is an example of we show people the value of what their defined benefit is. And if they took that same money in a private sector and were investing in a 401k, using real-time data, simulating what the growth and return and what their monthly income would be. And we think that if we can achieve this, and as I said, we're still working on this, that is one of those examples of how we recruit and retain people and keep them in the system. Because to stay in the system, you have to teach in North Dakota. So if they want to take part, we're hoping they remain as teachers. Complete account transparency. This is something we presently lack because members get a once-a-year annual statement that shows the value of their account, their vesting, all this. They get real-time account balances, detailed transaction info, and they can see, okay, my employer made a contribution this month of X dollars. My share was contributed at X dollars. This is our present value of my account. If I leave, I only take my value plus the interest earned. I'm leaving all this behind that the employer put in. That's another example of where we think we can help with retention. Because if you look at your bank account and you said, oh, I'm going to leave my bank, but my bank gets to keep half of what's in this account, you might not leave that bank. We're hoping the same thing happens with the TFFR fund. If they're thinking about getting out of teaching or going to another state teaching, they might look at it and say, oh, well, I'm not vested. I'm not going to get a lifetime benefit yet. I'm going to lose all this value that my employer put in. Maybe I'm going to hang on just a little longer. And we're also going to build in calculators to estimate benefits and payment options, as well as working on a return to teach option. So as you all are probably aware, in House Bill 1219, we changed the law so that if they return to teach and their pension stops, they get a recalculation so that when they retire again, their monthly benefit goes up based on how much longer they taught, what their salary was for those most recent years. And we're hoping by building in a return to teach calculator, when you're talking to a retired educator saying, please come back and teach math for 3 years, we'll give you $65,000 a year. They can go in here and estimate and say, well, it really is worth it because after those 3 years, my lifetime benefit goes up $364 a month or whatever it may be. The other calculators we're building in are scenario calculators. So if I retire early, this is what my benefit will be. If I wait till I'm 62, this is what my benefit will be. If I wait till 65, this is what my benefit will be. And we think giving them that kind of transparency may, it not only better educates them and prepares them for retirement, but may make them think twice about leaving education early. And then most importantly, it's elimination of paper-based processes. So as an example from the member side, everything can be done electronically through the system, applying for retirement, applying for disability, updating an account, bank, tax, beneficiary information. Everything can be done online. No more mailing forms to TFFR, running around getting signatures on forms, asking employers, hey, can you mail this form that they need from you? We're getting rid of all that, which saves the member time, saves the business partner time, and definitely saves TFFR time, which translates to money saved in the fund. Because I'm not sure if everybody understands, but every dollar that it takes to run the TFFR program, to pay our staff salaries, to pay the rent and the utilities at TFFR, comes out of the investment fund, and that's $1 less that we have to pay back the members. So this is an example of what the member sign-in screen will look like, something similar. So username and password, as I said, they can use their existing nd.gov login. Existing users will automatically be registered in the new system. So we're encouraging people who have never used the old system, because to be honest, it doesn't do a whole lot, to go ahead and register so that we have their information. And a key component is, and it seems simple, is an easy to reset password. The forgot password right down here. Presently, if somebody forgets a password, they have to mail or call TFFR. Then our NDIT support staff have to reset their password, send it to them. It's kind of a cumbersome process. This allows them to do it much more quickly. As an example, this is the member dashboard. As I said, real-time account balances, communication notifications from TFFR, to-do lists. They can see their service credit. They can see their account value. They can go into their accounts and look at details. They can upload, submit documents. If they're buying service credit, they can submit payments to us. All that kind of stuff can be done from this easy to use dashboard. And for accessibility and for personal preference, this dashboard also has a different look where it has a tile. And as you can see, you have icons and you can move to different things. You can estimate your benefit, do a withdrawal, apply for retirement, reference our forms and publications, all from an easy screen. That's just an optional view. And then this I use as an example of the illustration and the status. So you have the retirement application process. So here they can begin their retirement application, and it's a step-by-step, check the box, drop down, fill in the blank, moving through the process. And in real time, they'll see where their application is as far as being processed. And this is an example of all the different, disability, retirement, service credit, purchase, withdrawal, all that kind of stuff. They'll see this kind of illustrative work. So let's talk about what matters to you, the business partners. So all reporting is done through the system: new member enrollment, monthly contribution, monthly enrollment, and ACH payments. Now, something different in the system is that the contribution and enrollment forms are separate reports. But I'll get to it later in the presentation. We're working with the vendors on that. It should not be additional work on you, really. That should come from your system. One thing we are changing is ACH. All payments to TFFR have to be made through ACH, and they have to be made at the time of the report submission. So when you're submitting your contribution and enrollment reports, then ACH payment also has to be submitted. The good thing is everything is done when you do that. And I'm going to get into it in a minute, but we have validation checking. You will know by the time your payment's sent that you're done with TFFR for the month. And I will explain the ACH. So the ACH is nothing your bank has to initiate. So if your bank has talked about a fee or the difficulty, they don't have to do anything. There shouldn't be a fee associated with it. We do a pull from your account, much like you were setting up automatic power bill payment at home. We do a pull from your account based on the contribution report. And that's done through ACH, but the Bank of North Dakota initiates the pull from your bank. It's nothing you have to initiate. You put the information in the system, we pull it, and that's the end of it. So reduced reporting errors equals less time spent on TFFR reporting. I want to spend a minute or two on this. So if any of you have used TurboTax or TaxCut or something like that to do your taxes, you get two different things when you're processing your taxes. You get a soft alert, which is usually some kind of icon like a yield sign that says, hey, this doesn't look right. Double check it before you submit your taxes. And then you get a hard alert, which typically looks like a stop sign that says, the system has detected this is wrong. This is what's wrong. You have to go fix it before you can submit your taxes. This works the same way. And why this is such an advantage to business partners is presently you all submit your reports to us, and then it's a few days before we start working on reports. And then we find errors in the reports, and then we have to send business managers, finance officers, administrators emails saying, this is wrong, we need to understand what's going on, we need a corrected report. So you get this back and forth going that is time consuming because you have moved on to accounts payable, you've moved on to tax reporting, you've moved on to running payroll, you've moved on to HR duties, all the other things that you have to tick off on your list in your business operations. And then you're having to come back to TFFR reporting. With this system, we should eliminate almost all of that because you will get soft alerts, you will get hard alerts, you will make those corrections at the time you're preparing your report, and then you submit it and you get an acknowledgement your reports have been accepted, no errors found. Congratulations, yay, you're done with TFFR for the month. That does not mean we're not available to you. If you're submitting a report and you get an error and the system is not giving you enough information or you don't understand how to fix your error, we're always there through an email message or pick up the phone and call us. But while this may take, and I don't pretend to know how much time you spend on reporting each month, but say presently you spend 30 minutes on reporting and then 2 hours later in the month fixing errors when we get back to you, you may have to spend 45 minutes on reporting at the initial time, but then you're done with it. You don't have to worry about it again. So we see that as a real benefit. Additional added features, you get account transaction details. You can see everything in the history of your account with TFFR. All the ins and outs, all the messages, everything you'll be able to see. Messaging done directly with TFFR through the portal back and forth. So if you have a question, and normally, say now, you would email Tammy with it, but Tammy's out for 2 weeks on vacation, and your email's just sitting there, that won't happen anymore. You'll send a message. All TFFR staff will see the message. If one person's not available to answer it, somebody else can deal with it. And that history is in your account. So if you were working with Tammy on an issue, it didn't get resolved before she had to go out, and you need to continue working on it, we can see the history and help you keep working on it instead of causing that delay. Account notifications. So if you have a credit memo, if we need you to do something, if there's a service ticket you put in, you'll get a real-time notification. And ad hoc reporting. If you need to run reports for payroll, for taxes, for audits, the employers have the ability to go in there and run pre-designed reports through the My TFFR that you can print out, download in Adobe, or download in Excel. And we're working on it. We can't guarantee, but we think we're going to be able to do it. A model change calculator / simulator. So if during contract negotiations, you're thinking about changing your Model 2 parcel and the union wants X% and you're only able to give Y%, you can run scenarios to see what kind of budget implications that has, what it looks like money-wise for you in real time, as opposed to submitting it to us and then waiting, to be honest, by the time we do it manually, a week or two to get it back to you. You'll be able to run simulations in real time, which we think will help with union negotiations, budgeting, that type of thing. The business partner login screen, very much like the member login screen. So no need to go over that again. So your dashboard, again, very similar. So you can see any invoices you have. You can see payroll reports, click on them and run them again. To-do list, messages back and forth between us and you. You can create service tickets, much like an IT service ticket. If you're having issues, we get those in real time and then somebody can respond. So everything will be done through the portal. All communicating, other than on the telephone, with My TFFR will be done, or with TFFR staff, will be done through the My TFFR portal. We don't want to use email anymore because everybody knows emails get lost in inboxes because we all get deluged. And then you have these chains going back and forth. We want to use the portal. We think it's the most streamlined and where everybody can see what's going on with an account.
Hey, Chad.
Yeah.
Will the reports be able to be downloaded or viewed in a CSV or Excel format?
They will, PDF or CSV.
Okay, so. Thank you.
So this, just like the member dashboard, you have the tile. So you can click on enrollment. You can click on your employee information, the contact us, forms and publications. If you prefer this, there's the tile screen. There's also this thing up here called a hamburger menu, and I don't know if you've seen it on other software, but it's very common now. And Santosh will go in more in depth. But this hamburger menu, when you click on it, you get this screen right here where you can just go directly to different areas of the system. And you don't have to click through step to step to step to step to get to where you want to be. You can navigate directly between things in the system. The business partner details screen. So everything about your organization is here. You can always make sure everything's right, update, all that kind of stuff. Do we have a question there, Taylor? All right.
Yep. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Yep. So, will they have to go into the site to know a message has been sent?
You'll get a notification that you'll get a notification. It won't be the message itself in your email, but you'll get a notification that there's messages waiting for you in the system.
Okay. All right.
Kind of like I use US Bank because, I refer to US Bank because I use it. So if US Bank has a new member statement for me, I get a text message. There's a new member statement in my account. I get an email. There's a new member statement available or a new bank statement, but it doesn't actually send me the bank statement. I have to go in and get it.
Okay. Keep saying that.
So this is your enrollment screen for new members, new employees. So it's a step-by-step process, and you can see it takes you each step of the way. You complete one to move to the next, and then you know it's done. And we tried to make it very intuitive, user-friendly, and easy to navigate. And Santosh is going to go through these in detail. A contribution reporting screen. So this is where you do all your contribution reporting. Your maintenance screen. And I'm just glossing over these because Santosh is going in detail. So operational changes for business partners. So prior to go live, what's going to happen? So there's going to be a format change for the enrollment and contribution forms, but that should not affect the business managers, the finance directors much. we're going to be working with Software Unlimited, RDA, and the 5 systems that have their own software, and say, these are the parameters we need the file to meet in order to be uploaded into our system. And it should be a transfer from your system to our system. So I don't want people to worry about the format change, because that should not be an issue for the actual end users. We're going to have a blackout period where we have to cut over next fall. And during this period, we have to make sure all financial accounts are resolved. It's the only way we can ensure integrity in the money transactions before we go to the new system. So you're going to be hearing from us about that time saying, hey, you've got a lingering invoice out there due. We need to get it resolved right now, because we have to have all accounts balanced out. That means credit memos that we owe you paid to you before we can cut over in the new system. But we'll give you plenty of notice and communication prior to that. System training sessions. So this is the first. We're doing these live kind of orientation trainings, but we're going to have user-based training, and we'll be rolling that out probably in the spring. And we're planning those now, but where you guys actually get to use the system, figure out how to navigate the system, and learn the system before we go to it. And then, as I said, transition to ACH payments. Now, this is something that I've been very pleased to see. We've just done some tacit, hey, why don't you switch to ACH? And we've had a lot of employers already switch to it. If there's any questions on how to do that, please reach out to Tammy. She can help you along. She can get you the form. I think we sent it out before. We can have it sent out again. But if you're set up on ACH now, it'll go into the system, and you won't have to do it again once we go live. So as I mentioned, all transactions and reporting must be done through the system. Everything has to come through the system. Contribution payments have to be made with the contribution reporting. And that's not us trying to be heavy-handed. It's a couple of things, and make sure that we get everything resolved each month. But the other thing is, we can't invest the money for the members until we have the money. So every day that the money is not sitting with us and our very talented investment staff, it can't be out on the markets earning returns to grow the fund, which is what we want to happen. Because remember this, from an employer standpoint, once we hit 100%, then the contribution rates go down according to the law. So we want to grow that fund as much as possible. And to do it, you have to have new money coming in. After go live, we'll have communications related to the reporting and contributions. That'll be done through the system. And then there'll be possible trainings for systems improvements and additions. So we have not purchased all the features of the system. We purchased what we needed and what we thought would be the best business return for our membership. But there are additions that we may add down the line. There may be tweaks to the system, feature improvements that we need to provide some additional training on. So when I say possible trainings, that's what I'm referring to. And then briefly on the training plan. So we did a presentation at NDCL conference, the NDSBA conference. We did a virtual event with NDCEL last week, exactly like this. Today's virtual event. And then the hands-on training is still to be determined. That's for the business partners. And again, I do want to thank NDSBA, because these partnerships with groups like them and NDCEL help us reach the most people. And then members, education and training will begin in spring of 2024. And we're going to be delivering that virtually and on demand. So that concludes my presentation. Are there any questions? If not, I will turn it over to Santosh.
I hope you all can hear me. Good morning, everyone, again. My name is Santosh Rao, and I am the functional manager with Sagitech Solutions. And today we are going to go over a demonstration. And let me bring a quick presentation, and then we'll jump into the NeoSpin demonstration. All right. This is the NDTFFR PAS, Public Administration Solution Project, the MyTFFR. So the agenda today for my presentation will be introduction about the company Sagitech, which we are working for, and then the NeoSpin Employer Self-Service Portal, right? That's going to be the agenda for today. Sagitech, you may not have heard about this name until this meeting or until Chad started to introduce us. Sagitech is a global software provider here serving many of the larger pension organizations in the country, right? So we have a fully integrated web-based solution called NeoSpin. It supports millions of plan participants, administers several pension plans such as DB, DC, hybrid plans across various retirement systems from East Coast to the West Coast. Support thousands of employers like you guys. So we have worked with several employers, bringing them up to speed on the NeoSpin application, several members, several participants and users, right? So we have a product called NeoSpin, and we take it to the clients such as NDTFFR and implement the solution for them. So TFFR is partnering with us to implement the NeoSpin solution. And that's what we're going to give a demonstration today about, right? This demonstration is on the base product. So you will see the common terminology of a pension software. However, you will not see the customizations that we did for NDTFFR. For example, employer model is a unique term for TFFR. You may not see any of those words called employer model in today's demonstration. However, when you get to see the training in the spring of 2024, you will get to know how to change the model every fiscal year, what is a model. Based on all those things, you'll see those customizations that we worked with Chad, Denise, Tammy, and others, right? So you will see them in the upcoming demonstrations. So for today's demonstration, what we're going to do is that